Title: The Last Howl of Willow Woods. The sun dipped low behind the canopies of Willow Woods, shadows creeping longer with every heartbeat. Rachael and Ben, eager for their weekend camping trip, set up their tent and assembled a crackling fire. They had heard the warnings from locals, the eerie tales of a creature said to lurk within the depths of the forest, but they laughed it off. Superstitions, they thought, had no hold over them. "Come on, it's just a story," Ben scoffed, tossing another log onto the fire, its flames licking the chilly air. "I'm sure it's nothing more than an old wives' tale." Rachael nodded in agreement, but a hint of unease fluttered in her chest. As night fell, an unnatural silence enveloped Willow Woods. The wind ceased its whispering and the nocturnal creatures fell mute. Rachael shifted uncomfortably in her seat, feeling an oppressive weight settle over the campsite. She glanced at Ben, whose face was illuminated by the flickering flames. He seemed unfazed, but there was a tension in his posture. Hours slipped by as they shared ghost stories, laughter echoing beneath the starlit sky. But as they prepared to turn in, an unsettling howl pierced the quiet, cutting through the night like a blade. It was deep, guttural, and reverberated through the very core of their beings. "What was that?" Ben asked, his bravado faltering. "Probably just a coyote," Rachael replied, though doubt gnawed at her insides. Sleep did not come easy. Rachael tossed and turned, the haunting howls echoing in her mind. Just as she drifted off, another howl echoed, closer now, and infused with something primal that sent shivers up her spine. She bolted upright, whispering Ben's name, but there was no response. "Ben?" she called, her voice trembling. Silence. Rachael crawled out of the tent, her heart pounding. The fire had dwindled to embers, casting eerie shadows on the trees that twisted and swayed in the dim light. She ventured to where Ben had been, finding nothing but his abandoned jacket. Panic washed over her like a cold wave. "Ben!" she cried, her voice rising in fear. And then she heard it, a low growl followed by a disturbing rustle among the trees. A dark shape glided between the trunks, momentarily illuminated by a flash of moonlight. Rachael froze, her body gripped by terror as she witnessed a creature unlike anything she had ever imagined. It stood on two legs, towering more than 7 feet tall, its gaunt body covered in matted fur. Its mouth was a jagged grin of teeth, eyes gleaming with a predatory hunger. Rachael stumbled back, instinctively retreating into the safety of the tent. Her heart raced as she fumbled with the zipper before collapsing inside, breathing heavily. The howling grew louder, mingled with the snapping of twigs underfoot. She grabbed her phone, shining it around the tent, illuminating the canvas walls as she held her breath. Through the faint light, she heard scratching, claws raking against fabric. A chill gripped her as the howls transformed into a desperate, guttural scream, a sound that felt more human than beast. "Ben, no!" a voice called out from the woods, pained and frantic. "Get away, Rachael, run!" The government had dismissed the stories of the Wendigo lurking in Willow Woods, but now the legends hurtled back at her like bone-chilling prophecies. She was losing him, and that reality broke her heart even more than the creature breathing just outside. Crack! The sound of the tent pole splintering echoed in her ears, and she scrambled to find the other entrance, feeling her way through the dark. The creature's growls morphed into something more unsettling, laughter, taunting and cruel. Rachael burst out of the tent, the cold air hitting her like a slap. She raced into the woods, her breath billowing in the chill as panic surged through her veins. Behind her, she heard the low, mocking howl that sent ice through her bones. She wasn't just running from a beast, she was fleeing the shadows of despair engulfing her. "Ben, where are you?" she screamed, heedless of the dangers that lurked. The pale moon cast fleeting images of twisted trees that appeared to reach for her, grasping silhouettes full of malice. Each crack of a twig made her heart race, fearing it was the Wendigo closing in. And then she found a clearing, illuminated by the silvery moonlight. In the center lay Ben, crumpled on the ground, whispering hoarsely, "Help me." Rachael rushed to his side. "What happened? Are you okay?" Ben looked up, his face pale and gaunt, eyes filled with a knowing horror. "Run. It's too late for me, it's coming for you." Before Rachael could respond, The creature emerged from the tree line, towering and grotesque. It lunged forward, and Rachael felt clutches of despair wrapping around her heart, holding her in place. "No," she screamed. But the Wendigo was upon them, eyes gleaming with the terrible hunger only whispered about in local legends, ready to swallow their souls into darkness. As she turned to run, her feet tangled, sending her sprawling on the forest floor. Shadows loomed over her, fusing with the howl of the damned. The last thing she heard was the echoing screech of her name swallowed whole by the night. The following morning, the forest stood undisturbed, a stillness holding the tales of horror trapped within its embrace. Rachael and Ben were never found, but campers once again told tales of the Wendigo, warning others to stay clear of Willow Woods, especially as the sun dipped below the horizon.